So, welcome, Maura. I'm so excited we have a chance to chat today. Would you just start out by sharing a little bit about yourself? And then, yeah, I'd love to explore your journey into Amplify and through Amplify a little bit from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, my name is Mara Newman. I'm 32 years old and I live in Ohio. And I am a mom of a young son and I'm married. So kind of just a little background about me. I was a teacher for 10 years. I just actually finished my 10th year of teaching in June. So that's kind of like my background of like where I'm at and what I've done in the past. So
Mhm. I love that. Okay. And so, before you joined Amplify, you were teaching. What did you
yes.
teach?
So I taught special education for most 9 out of my 10 years. Yeah.
Okay.
So elementary school though, but yeah.
Okay. Amazing. And then, what really made you decide I want to start looking for something remote?
So I think like when I had my son, I really thought, on maternity leave, you're like home. I had nobody else to talk to all day long besides this baby. And we weren't living near any family really. And I was like, I'm going to be so ready to
Mhm.
go back to school when the school year starts. And I think in some ways I was like, it was nice to be around other grown-ups and like get dressed in the morning and like real clothes and all the
Yeah.
things. But I was a breastfeeding mom. And so when my son went to daycare, he was like 5 months old, but I was, having to like pump at work. And um, that was kind of like mentally very like challenging for me because I really enjoyed the process of like nursing and stuff. And so I feel like that's when my wheels first kind of started turning of like, gosh, like I wish there was another way because I hate, like, I know he's being cared for at daycare, but like I could just be feeding him myself if I was
Mhm.
like home, and that was really hard. But again, I didn't really think that like there was another. I'm like, this is just it. Like this is the career I chose. And like I did love teaching. So it was kind of this like mental battle that I was, dealing with every day. Um, and then last summer, actually, I went back and looked around this time a year ago is the first time that I like replied to something of
That's amazing.
yours.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
cool.
Yeah. And I got sent like the mini course.
Okay. Yeah.
And I never like did anything with it though, because I think I just was like, I replied and I got it and I was like,
Yeah.
this won't work for me. Like whatever.
Mhm.
And then October is really when I was like, I'm gonna like reach out again. And because it was just on my mind.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah.
And so then you reached out
Yeah.
and oh, hold on just one second. Hey, I'm on a call. What do you need? I'll make some more in a minute. Okay. Go upstairs with the kids. You're all right. You go upstairs with the kids. Okay. I'm on a phone call and I'm recording it. So you have to go play and I'll be out in a few minutes. Okay. Go get a snack. It's always the like snack time drama. I don't know if you're to that age yet, but
Yeah. Yes.
okay. So then you got the mini course, and then what happened after that?
Yeah. So I like got into conversation, in the DMs. I think I was chatting with Lexi
Okay.
and I really just was kind of like I needed I went back and looked at the conversation because I kind of forgot really like how it
Okay.
all
Yeah,
happened.
yeah. Uh-huh.
And I was very much like hesitant that this was like a real thing.
Mm,
Because like I'm not like a naturally probably like I should be a little bit more, my husband would say, like speculative of
okay.
people, but like it would never have occurred to me that somebody would be like trying to, like pull one over on me.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was more so just like, could this work for me? Like,
Mm-hmm.
could I really like do the program while I'm teaching? And if
Okay.
I do complete the program, could this really replace my income? And, you
Mm-hmm.
know, um, but I at that point was so sure that like I didn't I needed to try at least like take a chance on myself and try something else
Mm-hmm.
like because maybe I couldn't get that time back with my son, but like if we wanted to have another child in the future, like I have the chance to like kind of change the trajectory, you
Mhm.
know, for our family. Um, and so yeah, that's just kind of like how it went for me getting started.
Okay, I love that. So really it was looking to the future of
Yeah.
obviously I can't fix how the past went, but I
Yeah.
can make a decision today, like moving forward.
Yeah.
Um, and then how was like your journey once you decided I'm going to enroll, I'm going to get started? How was the program for you and all the training?
Yeah, I think the program was great. It was like the beginning is very self-paced, which is like for me it was really nice. I would be like listening to recordings, like to the modules while I'm like
Mhm.
doing other things, you know, cleaning the kitchen and like in the car driving.
Yeah.
And so that was really nice. And then I think I was like pretty nervous to start like the mock conversations,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
once I got going, it was like, okay, this is like you kind of see everyone else like also submitting conversations
Mhm.
and you're like okay like we're in this together, other people are going through this too, and the feedback was like so helpful that it kind
Mhm.
of for me I think it took the fear out of it, like okay well if this is what you want to do for a career, like
Mhm.
you have to get over the anxiety of this and like
Yeah.
just jump in and do it.
Yeah.
So I found the program, and I mean, you figure like I was working all day as a teacher and then
Yeah.
also had like a not even at this point 2 year old son. So I was able to still do what I needed to do.
Yeah, you're busy.
Just, yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And you were able to like balance it when you were
Yeah.
teaching and of course being a full-time mom too.
Yeah. And I think like part of that is a little bit of a mindset thing for me of just being like, this might be really hard now. And
Mm.
it might like there might be days where it feels like too much now, but it's like that's a temporary discomfort for like a long term like reward, if that makes sense. So it's
Oh
kind of like I couldn't let myself be like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get this all done? It's like you're and I'm like investing my time now for
yeah.
something better to come.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I think that's such an important mindset shift. I love the quote, like, you can have it all, but you can't have it all at once.
Yeah,
And that's like kind of it. It's like we
yeah,
talk about in the program, like you have glass balls, you have rubber balls.
yeah,
Sometimes you have to drop the rubber balls and they'll bounce back. And it sounds
yeah,
like that's kind of what you decided, just I'm going to get through this.
yeah.
And then what was like your main driving factor of finishing before the end of the
Mm.
school year? Because I know you guys had some family stuff coming up.
Yeah, so I'm a very like pragmatic person. So I this whole time like when I got started in October, I was like, okay, if I start now and I get through it, if I can find a placement in the spring and do both for a couple of months, again, might like stink for a little bit, but I knew that I wanted to have the chance to start earning before my teaching salary was like gone
Mhm.
so that I wasn't like leaving ever leaving us without like my income
Yeah.
altogether. Even if it
Yeah.
wasn't going to be immediately like the same as my teaching
Yeah.
income, it would at least be something.
Hmm.
Um, and so again, like it was just, I was just so determined to
Hmm.
like make that happen.
Yeah. Because now it's the summer, obviously, when we're
Mhm.
recording this, and you're not going
Yeah,
to teaching in the fall.
no, I'm not. No.
Yeah.
And I'm working in my I'm actually in my second placement, but
Okay.
it's like been I can see this being like something that which I might be getting ahead of like you with your
No,
questions,
yeah.
but
I'm just
yeah,
curious. Yeah.
it's so crazy to me. My when you're a teacher, it's like your brain is on like a 9 and 3 month like
Mhm.
cycle for
Yeah,
like all
it
these
is.
years
Yeah,
that I'm like,
totally.
oh, it's so weird to think that there's no like back to school for me. I'm still kind of like
Wow.
calibrating myself to that. But it's cool. Like, it's a cool feeling because fall is my favorite season. And I feel like I always miss fall because I'm at work. So I'm
Because you're at
excited.
work. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. And so now tell us a little bit about like what you're doing now and how that transition, I guess, like out of Amplify Academy into
Yeah.
the real world of
Yeah.
DM
Yeah.
setting has been.
Yeah. So I got my first placement in March and it was like a great placement. I was
Mhm.
like, the coach I was working for was awesome. I just like needed, I think, something a little different, like
Mhm.
time wise, just like with where I was at with my family and like our move and things
Yeah.
like that. But I will say, like, I utilized, as you know, like the post placement support, like for
Right.
help with reviewing conversations and just getting like, even sometimes a couple times, like going on Voxer and being like, I'm really having a hard time like knowing how to ever be like done for the day. Like, how do you get
Mm.
better at that? And
Yeah.
the post placement support was like so valuable to me
Oh,
because
good. Yeah.
um you don't know like what you don't know. And so a lot of this is like baptism by fire a little bit. Like you just have to like get started. And
Yeah.
so I learned so much from my first placement. I think
Good.
like a lot of it too was me knowing like my boundaries and like what I
Yeah.
really wanted out of a job like this, because I was able to be super forthright with the coach I'm working for now and say like,
Yeah.
listen, this is what like I can give, and I
Mhm.
know that I can do what you need me to do, but like I can't give you like 6 or 7 hours a day right now.
Yeah.
That's just where I'm at.
Totally.
um and thankfully she was like super on board with that. I'm
Mhm.
working for a therapist, so I think she's
That's
like
awesome.
very mindful of like mental well-being and like
Good.
boundaries and all of
Yeah.
that.
I love it.
But it's, yeah, I mean, I think it's been like a journey to get here, but I feel
Mhm.
really like happy with where I landed right now. So
That's amazing. Yeah. And I think one of the things that people do ask us about a lot, and you might have been wondering this at one point too, is like when you get into a placement, is that like where you are forever? Like, or do
yeah.
you have to keep going and finding more placements? And I think the thing that's very interesting about remote sales specifically, but sales in general, is that switching companies is not uncommon. Because I would
Right.
imagine that this new coach you're working for now, she wasn't like, oh, why did you leave that? She just was like,
No.
oh, it wasn't a fit. Like, amazing.
Right.
You can come work here.
Yeah. Totally. And I think especially too, depending on like the career that you're coming from,
Mhm.
that was like so foreign to me,
Oh,
because like
yeah.
teaching isn't a career where you're just like, you
Yeah.
know what, this isn't feeling like a good fit for me.
Mhm.
Like, I guess you could, but I would,
Yeah. Not
you
many
wait till
people.
the end of the school year, like
Yeah.
you have a contract, like,
Right.
these things are so it was, I even needed a little bit of like support when I was thinking of transitioning, like from you guys, just to be like, that's okay. Like just
Mhm.
be honest, communicate, things like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's definitely like mindset is such a big piece of it, which is
Mhm.
why I think like it would be to me so like hard to fathom somebody trying to like do this on their own,
Mhm.
because it's like, okay, yeah, like I could learn maybe like the black and white of like
Mhm.
how to talk with someone in the DMs, but
Yeah.
like I the support, like I'm still like texting like friends with girls that I met
Yeah.
through the
Oh, I
program
love
who were
that.
you know like helping each other along. And so I think having the support to like kind of like have grace with yourself, retrain your brain a little bit to be
Mhm.
like, this is how it looks in this world, and it's okay if it feels uncomfortable or if it feels like difficult. Like you're
Mhm.
not alone in that.
Mhm. Mhm.
That to me is like really invaluable.
Oh, I love that. And I'm really happy to hear that like you're still in
Yeah.
touch with a lot of girls.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. Because I always talk about like people make real friends. Like, you don't
Yeah.
expect it, but then suddenly you have friends online, but it's fun
Yes.
because then you leave your office friends or your teacher friends or
Yeah.
the friends at the hospital and then it's like now you have a new set that you can chat
For
with.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. So what does your day to day, I guess, look like now? Kind of
Uh-huh.
balancing. Of course, you have a busy little one because
Oh
you
my
said
gosh.
not quite two.
Well, he's two
Oh, he's
now, and
two now.
he's like
Okay.
runs on like, I
Yeah.
don't know. It's like he has like a generator in him
Okay. Yeah. So you're
all around
busy.
the
You don't have like
yeah.
kids in school. You're home with
No,
your
yeah,
with your son full time.
yeah,
And then of course you're working. So like what does
yeah.
kind of a typical day look like for you?
Yeah, so I'm a morning person. And if you're not a morning person, I suggest trying to train yourself to become a morning
Yeah.
person if you
Yeah.
go into this line of work. I just think that it's like so nice to be able to have some time to like get started before you have to like turn mom mode on.
Yep.
But I get up every day around like 5 o'clock, and I typically what I do is I either work like exercise first. I have like gotten a little desk for my treadmill so that I can
Okay.
like do stuff while I'm working out. But sometimes I'll just like come and clear the inbox first and
Mhm.
drink my coffee. And then once I know I've done that, I'll step away and like work out or do something else. And
Mhm.
then So I do some work in the morning. I get my son up. And then I usually like I have my parents nearby for childcare,
Yes.
thankfully. So I take him over there for like a couple hours and I work a couple more hours or just like do things that I need to do around the house. And then I work some during nap time and then usually for a little bit once my husband's done with work for the
Okay.
day. So thankfully, like the coach I'm working for is not somebody who's like, you need to respond immediately. She's cool with there being like a little bit of a an hour or so
Yeah.
between
Mhm.
messages.
Yeah.
So it's worked out great. And then I personally don't in this role. She does not have the expectation for me to work like in the evening time or on weekends,
Mhm.
which is really nice. But even still, I think if I was having to work in the evening, like in my first placement, I would usually put my son to bed and
Mhm.
then like work for a little bit while we were
Okay.
like watching a show or something like that.
Okay.
So
Cool. Yeah.
yeah,
So very like flexible around your day as a
super flexible. Yeah.
also, I
I
mean, of
was
course, you're
answering
putting in the
DMs.
hours. Yeah.
Yes, I took my laptop with me today and hopped on a hotspot in the Target parking lot before I went in to
Oh my
do
gosh, I love it.
so it's
Yeah.
like it's very flexible.
Yeah. You're like doing it on the go, doing it at
Yep.
home. And
Yep.
I think that's one of the things, particularly about DM setting, that is so appealing to
Mhm.
moms or even just people that really want like a flexible day where
Yeah,
they're like, I want to be able to go run my errands. I want to be able to travel, whatever it
for sure.
is that it's something you can take with you. Um,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
And okay, so obviously you're not going back to teaching, but let's talk
No.
about like money. Like that's
Yeah.
another question we get a lot is like, what type of income are you making? How does that pan
Yeah.
out? And I know this is kind of a newer placement for
Mhm.
you right now, and usually
Yeah.
talk about takes about 3 months to really start
Yes.
seeing good fruit, I would say, from
Yeah.
like commissions. But I last we chatted, I know you were pretty pleased with where things were going right now.
Yeah. So my coach kind of there was like gonna be like I want to say maybe it was supposed to be like a 3 week or like 4 week kind of trial period,
Okay.
so to
Hmm.
speak, where there were
Okay.
like some certain goal metrics that they wanted me to hit. And then but really last week when I was like not even in my second full week,
Mhm.
she was like so pleased with how I was doing that she was like called off like we're
Oh,
done with the
amazing.
trial period. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got the choice at that point between going like strictly commission or having my commission be a little lower and also having a base.
Nice.
Which initially I was like thinking I would go with the commission only, but what I didn't realize was that she actually is willing to like increase the base
Nice.
over time
Okay.
if I'm continually like exceeding
Okay.
the KPIs. So I have the opportunity to like make more in base alone than I was making as a teacher if
Oh my
I
gosh,
hit the
amazing.
max amount of base
I
pay,
love
which is
that.
like really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's like aside from commission, because then you still make
yes,
commission on top of that.
right, yes,
That's
yeah.
amazing.
So that was really cool. And it was kind of interesting what she said to me. It was kind of like a glimpse maybe into like an entrepreneur's brain for a minute.
Mhm.
Cause she was like, I just want you to know that like the DM setter role is the one that I'm like going to be the most protective of
Mhm.
because this is the thing that's like the hardest for me to do myself.
Yeah.
Because right now she's been taking her own closing calls and she's like, I can do that if I have to. Like if I'm really struggling to find a great closer, I
Yeah.
can take my own closing calls. But like the attention to detail and like organization and just like that piece of it with DM setting,
Mhm.
she was like, I just don't have the time to do that job well. So it was kind of cool to hear that because I think sometimes maybe people will be like, oh, well, the closer, like that's the higher commission, like
Mhm.
that's the more like important role.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like it was cool to hear her say, like, no, for me, this is like really so valuable to me to have someone doing a good job in this role.
Yeah. And that not only, I mean, obviously this is a job for you, but that provides relief for her. And it's really
Yeah,
how her business generates more clients.
for
Like you
sure.
guys are you helping therapists to start business, like kind of their own private
Yes.
practice? Is that right?
Yeah. She's helping therapists to get like on private pay and not have
Cool.
to use insurance, which is
Okay.
really, yeah, really cool.
That's cool. I always love to hear
Yeah.
about what like business everybody ends up in, what
Yeah.
there's so many and they're so
Yeah.
interesting. Uh,
Yeah.
it's cool to
And
see
it's
that.
like I don't know anything about that. And I didn't have any background with the niche for my first
Yeah.
role either.
Okay.
So it just goes to show that like you can learn. Like you'd be amazed at the amount of things you can learn
Mhm.
in such a quick period of time.
Yeah.
Like these acronyms now that are about therapy that like 3 weeks ago I had no idea. And
Yeah.
now I'm like, do like,
Yeah.
oh, I
You
know
just
what
pick
that
it up.
stands for. So
Yeah.
you just like figure it out because like you have to. Like
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah. That's cool. I love that too. Because again, that's another question we get often is like, do you have to know a lot about a certain industry
No,
or niche? But it's so much more about the person you're talking to, not
for
about the
sure.
product. And that's kind of
For
easy.
sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, I love that. What would you say to someone who maybe is thinking about getting started as a DM setter or an SDR, or even thinking about doing Amplify? Any advice or words of wisdom for them?
Yeah, I think I would say like if you have something that you're working for that like is a non-negotiable in your life, like you owe it to yourself to give it a try and like give it your all, or else you're always going to wonder like how could things have looked differently if I did this. Like, I every time that I would start to like question myself and be like, what am I doing? Like, I should just like find a teaching job. Like, that's what I went to school for. When I would picture and like visualize what that would look
Mm,
like getting up every day, going to work, my son going to daycare, like I was like, no, like that's not a choice.
yeah.
And so for me, it was like, I think even when I was really doubting, like, did I do the right thing? Or I was feeling kind of, unsure. When I pictured what things would look like if I stayed, that made me feel more uncomfortable than the feeling of like going into something new. So it's kind of like it's gonna be uncomfortable, and there's gonna be days where you're like, what am I doing? And you're gonna have like
Yeah.
imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
But it's as long as you are like so steadfast in like what the reason why
Mm,
you're doing this, I think it will work out, you know. I mean, you have to put in the work, but
yeah.
it's very possible to like find what you're looking for
Yeah.
if you keep the end goal in mind.
Yeah. I love that. That's such good advice. And I think like you are definitely a testament of that. I think you came in just like hard worker, ready to do the
Yeah.
feedback, ready to attend everything, like get on the
Yeah.
calls, ask for help. You said that about your placement. And
Yeah.
I usually say like action takers are money makers. Like you're a great testament of that for sure
Yeah.
because you took advantage of the support. You came to
Yeah.
coaching, you asked for help.
Yeah.
That makes all the difference. And it's showing up now. Like
Yeah.
you're reaping all the benefits of all that hard
Yeah.
work and putting that in while you were teaching, which is just so
Yeah.
cool to see. Like now
Yeah.
you're set. Like
Yep.
this is it. You're not going
Yep.
back to teaching. You're home.
No. Yeah.
And
And I think too, like I was thinking about this today. I think it's really tough to like I know that there's a lot of women out there who like me or in jobs similar, they like went to school for a career where like your degree leads right into a job.
Yeah.
And you never really like teaching nursing, like you go to nursing school, you're going to be a nurse. You go to, you get an education degree, you're going to be a teacher. And because of that, you never really allow yourself the space to like think that there's anything else that you could do or be good
Mhm.
at because you've been on like a pipeline into this
Yeah.
like one thing.
One
And
track.
so I think that is like one thing with Amplify that like I learned that a
Mm.
lot of the things that made me a great teacher could also make me really good at this job.
I
And
love
so I think it's so important to have like be able to see like the big picture and be like just because you went to nursing school doesn't mean that being a nurse is the only thing you can ever succeed at. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's other things out there. And so
Yeah.
that was super important for me to kind of reframe my thinking.
Yeah. I think that's so true. It's like it's okay just to change your mind and it's okay
Yeah.
to use your skills in a different way. Would you
Yeah.
say that now you love teaching? And
Yeah.
a
Oh,
lot of women we
absolutely.
work with like do like their jobs or they
Yeah.
love parts of their job, but it's kind of the burnout of the 9 to 5 or the
Yeah.
all the other stuff that comes with it, would you say you feel like that same like good fulfilled feeling that you did when you were teaching, or is it just kind of like grunt work?
No, I do. No, I don't feel like it's grunt work. I think
Yeah.
it's different. It's like a different kind of fulfillment because I think now I feel fulfilled in the fact that like I get to be a mom, which is the thing that
Mhm.
I love like most of all, but I still get to provide for my family. So it's like I'm pouring more into my own child as
Mhm.
opposed to pouring into like other kids.
Mhm.
But I get to do that and like still do work that I know is going to help other people
Mhm.
and like make money for my family. So it's kind of like it's fulfillment kind of in a different like
Yeah.
frame, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
No, that does totally make sense. Yeah. Yeah. Because that's another thing too. Sometimes you think, well, I don't want to just do like data entry or something that's like
No.
boring,
Yeah.
just like, oh, I want to just like do this one thing. But it's like, what could I do that would make me feel
Yeah.
like the sense of purpose that my other
Yeah.
job did, but also
For
ticks those
sure.
boxes. So,
Yes, definitely.
yeah. Oh, Maura, this was so good. I really appreciate you
Yeah,
taking the time
of
today.
course. So
Yeah.
happy to do it. Amplify is amazing. And I know that like there's women out there who are like on the fence and they just are worried that it's not the real deal and that it can't really like help
Yeah.
them. And so like it can, and you should take a chance on yourself.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Well, thank you. Oh,
Yeah, of
well,
course.
thank you.